The day began before sunrise. Dark clouds already covered the sky as I packed my camping gear into the car. My destination was a beautiful pine mountain forest, far away from the city, where nature remained untouched and peaceful. The weather forecast predicted heavy rain throughout the day, but that only made the adventure more exciting. As I drove higher into the mountains, the road became surrounded by towering pine trees. A cool breeze drifted through the forest, carrying the fresh scent of pine needles and wet earth. Soon, the first raindrops began to fall. At first, it was only a light drizzle tapping gently against the windshield. But as I arrived at the campsite, deep within the pine forest, the rain quickly intensified. The sky grew darker. The sound of rainfall echoed through the mountains. I parked my vehicle and started unloading my equipment. Despite the rain, the forest looked incredibly beautiful. Thick mist moved between the tall pine trees, creating a magical atmosphere. My first task was to set up a large camping tent. The rain poured steadily as I worked. I carefully spread out the tent fabric and secured the poles. Wind occasionally swept through the trees, making the job more challenging, but after some effort, the large tent finally stood strong among the pines. The spacious shelter became my home for the next 24 hours. Rain continued falling. After organizing my gear, I sat for a moment near the entrance and watched the storm. The endless sound of rain created a peaceful rhythm throughout the forest. Hours passed. Mist drifted through the forest like silent ghosts. The tall pine trees disappeared and reappeared behind curtains of rain. There was no traffic, no crowds, no city noise. Only nature, only rain, only the peaceful mountain forest. The afternoon slowly passed. Heavy rain continued falling hour after hour. The forest floor became completely soaked and small puddles formed everywhere. Yet the large tent remained dry and secure. Inside, I read a book, listened to the rain, and occasionally stepped outside to admire the breathtaking scenery. Everywhere I looked, the forest glowed with life. The rain made the green colours richer. The air felt cleaner. The atmosphere felt calmer. As evening approached, darkness slowly covered the mountains. The rain still showed no sign of stopping. I turned on a lantern inside the tent, creating a warm golden glow that contrasted beautifully with the grey world outside. Soon it was time to prepare dinner. Once again, I fired up the camping stove and cooked a simple but delicious meal. The smell of hot food filled the shelter. Outside, rainwater continued flowing between the pine trees. Inside, everything felt cozy and peaceful. I enjoyed my dinner while listening to the soothing sound of heavy rainfall. It felt like nature's own music. After eating, I made a hot cup of coffee and sat quietly near the tent entrance. Night had fully arrived. The forest became darker and more mysterious. The only visible light came from my lantern and occasional flashes of distant lightning hidden behind the clouds. Rain fell steadily onto the tent roof. Tap, tap, tap. Thousands of tiny drops, creating an endless natural symphony. The cool mountain air drifted through the forest. The pine trees swayed gently in the wind. And for a moment, time seemed to slow down. There was nothing else to do. No schedules, no distractions, no responsibilities. Only the simple pleasure of being surrounded by nature. As the night grew deeper, I climbed into my sleeping bag. The tent felt warm and secure despite the storm outside. Lying comfortably beneath the canvas roof, I listened to the rain continue its journey through the forest. The sound was peaceful, relaxing, almost hypnotic. Hour after hour, the rain kept falling. The pine forest remained wrapped in mist, darkness, and endless water. And as I slowly closed my eyes, I realized that this rainy camping trip had become something special. Not because the weather was perfect, but because it wasn't. Sometimes the most unforgettable adventures happen when nature shows its wild side. A large tent, a warm meal, a beautiful pine forest, and heavy rain falling non-stop for an entire day. As sleep finally arrived, the storm continued outside, gently singing its endless song through the mountains. And surrounded by the sounds of rain and nature, I drifted into one of the most peaceful nights I had ever experienced.